Welcome to this session on back of thigh. Okay, also called as the hamstring compartment. So on the back side of the thigh is the hamstring compartment, and here we see basically four muscles, and these four muscles are called as hamstrings. These four muscles have common characteristics, which we call in the exams are also asked as what are the common characteristics of the hamstrings. So now let us write about the characteristics, the characteristics of the hamstrings. And first is the origin of these muscles is from ischial tuberosity. Okay. Second, the insertion is on one of the bones of the leg. Insertion on one of the bones of the leg. The nerve supply is by the tibial part of the sciatic nerve. So therefore, the short head of the biceps femoris muscle, it doesn't receive from the tibial part, it receives from the common peroneal part because it is not a hamstring. Insertion on one of the bones of the leg, the adductor magnus gets inserted on the femur itself, but still it is included in the hamstrings because through the tibial collateral ligament, which is supposed to be its divorce tendon, it gets inserted on the tibia. That was supposed to be its the previous morphological insertion. And these muscles are flexors of knee and extensors of hip. So these are the four common characteristics: origin from ischial tuberosity, insertion on one of the bone of the leg, the nerve supply by tibial part of the sciatic nerve. They are flexors of the knee and extensors of the hip. And the muscles are also four. These four muscles are semi-membranosus. Okay, semi-membranosus because the origin is membranes. Okay, origin is membranes. Semi means like tendinosis. The semi tendinosis because the insertion is via a long tendon. The insertion is via long tendon. Okay, biceps femoris. Okay, and adductor magnus. The adductor magnus. So these are the muscles which we see in the back of the thigh. Now, if we see their origin, okay, origin of these muscles, the origin of these muscles is from the ischial tuberosity, as we said previously. So, if this is the ischial tuberosity, okay, it is divided into upper and the lower part. Lower part is further divided into medial part and the lateral part. The medial part is related to a bursa and we sit on it, while the lateral part is the origin of adductor magnus. Adductor magnus. And this upper part is further divided into two parts, and that is inferomedial. This is inferomedial and superolateral. From this superolateral part takes origin the semi-membranosus. Okay, semi-membranosus. And from the inferomedial part takes origin the the origin of semitendinosus and the long head of biceps femoris. Long head of biceps. So this is the ischial tuberosity. This is the upper part. This is the lower part. Lower part is divided into medial part on which we sit. Lateral part where there is adductor magnus. Upper part is further divided into the superolateral part from which semimembranosus takes origin and inferolateral part from where semitendinosus and long head of biceps femoris takes origin. The semimembranosus gets inserted on tibia, okay, on the medial surface of the tibia upper part, okay. That's where, sorry, the semimembranosus gets inserted on the posterior surface of the medial condyle of tibia. Posterior surface, medial condyle of tibia, and semitendinosus gets inserted on the medial surface, of the tibia behind the sartorius and gracilis, along with sartorius and gracilis. So this we call it as we remember it by a mnemonic called SGS, sartorius, gracilis, and semitendinosus. Sartorius, gracilis, semitendinosus. They together get inserted on the medial surface, upper part of the medial surface of the tibia. Okay. Now adductor magnus gets inserted on the adductor tubercle of the femur, and from this adductor tubercle starts the tibial collateral ligament. So this is where the adductor magnus, the hamstring part, gets inserted, and from here starts the tibial collateral ligament, which is supposed to be its divorced tendon. Okay, so we call it as its divorced tendon, the tibial collateral ligament, and that's how we say that it is also part of the hamstrings. Okay, the nerve supply of all of these muscles is by the tibial part of the sciatic nerve. Now biceps femoris, as the name suggests, biceps, it has two heads. The second head is from the posterior surface of the femur, and it is not a part of the hamstrings, and therefore supplied by the common peroneal. So if this is the medial side and this is the lateral side, here is the ischial tuberosity. Okay, the muscles will be taking origin like this. The semimembranosus goes like this. Okay, and on the semimembranosus lies the semitendinosus. So they are together on the medial side, while the biceps, it goes like this. Now the biceps femoris gets inserted on the tibia. Okay, it gets inserted on the on the head of the tibia, on its apex. It gets inserted. Okay, in very close relation with the fibular collateral ligament. So this is biceps femoris, this is semimembranosus, this is semitendinosus. Okay, and adductor magnus is here. Now, what are the actions? Okay, so this will get inserted on the fibula. Semimembranosus, as we said, on the groove on the posterior surface of the medial condyle of tibia. Semitendinosus goes like this and gets inserted on the upper part of the medial surface of the tibia, along with sartorius, gracilis, and semitendinosus. They together, three of them are together. Actions, as we said, they are all flexors of the knee and extensors of the hip. But apart from that, in a semi-flexed position, when we see in a semi-flexed position, the semimembranosus and semitendinosus, they are the medial rotators of the, okay, and while biceps femoris in a semi-flexed position, it is a lateral. It's a lateral rotator of the of the knee joint. Well, these are the medial rotators of the knee joint in a semi-flexed position. These are the actions of these muscles. Adductor magnus is mainly a adductor, doesn't have classical actions like other actions. So this is in short about the hamstring muscles, the sciatic nerve will be running like this, lying on the adductor magnus in between. Okay, they are the ones which form the boundary of the popliteal fossa. Of course, I have separated it like this. They will be very close. The biceps femoris will be like this, semimembranosus will be like this, and down here will be the gastrocnemius, and together in between here we'll be seeing the popliteal fossa. So this semimembranosus and semitendinosus will be forming the superomedial boundary of the popliteal fossa, and biceps femoris will be forming the superolateral boundary of the popliteal fossa, and gastrocnemius will be forming the inferior-medial and the inferior-lateral boundary of the popliteal fossa, which we'll be dealing later. So this is all about hamstrings. Just to tell you in short about the muscles of the posterior compartment, there are four muscles: semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, and adductor magnus. These are called as hamstring muscles on the back of the thigh. They have four common characteristics. They origin from the ischial tuberosity. They get inserted on one of the bone of the leg. Their nerve supplies by tibial part of the sciatic nerve. They are flexors of the knee and extensors of the hip. The origins, as we said, the ischial tuberosity is divided into upper part, lower part. Lower part is divided into medial part on which we sit, and there is a bursa here, and lateral part is adductor magnus. The hamstring component of adductor magnus. Adductor magnus is a common muscle for adductor compartment as well as hamstring compartment. While the upper part is divided by oblique line into superolateral part from where semimembranosus takes origin, and inferior-medial part from where semitendinosus and long head of biceps femoris takes origin. Semimembranosus gets inserted on the tibia posterior surface, medial condyle, posterior surface of tibia. Semitendinosus gets inserted on the medial surface of the tibia, upper part, along with sartorius and gracilis, SGS. Biceps femoris gets inserted on the apex of the tibia. Okay. As we discussed their actions, they are flexors of the knee, extensors of the hip. In a semi-flex position, the semimembranosus and semitendinosus also cause medial rotation of the knee. Biceps femoris in a semi-flex position causes lateral rotation of the knee. So that's all about the hamstring muscles. Thank you so much.